Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about the 5 worst phones ever. 2010 Microsoft Kin. Microsoft spent over $1 billion developing the pair of phones, but it discontinued the Kin phones just 6 weeks after it launched the devices. The Kin phones were too pricey from the beginning. They weren't exactly smartphones, but they were priced like one. Verizon required a data plan, and with the pricing being $50 to $100 on a 2-year contract, you could get a much more capable smartphone for that same money. The Kin OS had no apps, which makes the Microsoft Kin pretty much dead on arrival. Later company focuses on Windows Phone 7. 2005 Motorola Rocker E1. It was a Motorola and Apple collaboration, and in fact, if you wanted to, you could almost call this the very first iPhone. Back in September 2005, Steve Jobs walked out on stage at the annual Apple event and announced this rocker phone. Steve Jobs described it as an iPod shuffle inside a phone. It was the first phone compatible with iTunes. It was artificially limited to 100 songs regardless of how much storage space you actually had on the phone. It was basically a normal Motorola phone with a slightly iPod-like interface, and sales did not do too well, leading Apple Motorola to break up. 2003 Nokia NGauge. The phone was described as resembling a taco, which led to its nickname Taco Phone. With a launch price of $299, it was not commercially popular. Instead of being able to download the games, you actually had to buy the physical cards, which looked basically like SD cards. The phone had to be disassembled to change games. When you actually wanted to change the game, you had to shut the phone off, then pull the back panel off, take the battery out, and then slide the card in behind the battery. The phone didn't last too long in the market. To use it as a phone, one had to hold the phone sideways against their head. 2008 Blackberry Storm. One of the most glaring reasons for its failure is the lack of innovation with the touch screen. The screen was based on an older type of technology called resistive. It also used a brand new thing called SurePress. When you touch the screen, it actually goes inside the phone just a little bit, which gives you the impression that you're actually touching something in real life. Unfortunately, it mostly felt like you were breaking the screen on the phone, and in general, it just did not work at all. The BlackBerry OS was actually not designed for a touchscreen, and the fact that it lacked a feature as simple as Wi-Fi made the Storm not only a failure, but at least in my opinion one of the major reasons why BlackBerry is in such a trouble today. 2001 Chiasra Echo. This was a very strange phone from the beginning. There was a normal 3.5-inch display up front, but with a hinge, you could pull out another 3.5-inch display. It wasn't all bad. Once you put the screens together, it actually seemed like you were carrying around a 4.7-inch tablet in your pocket. Nevertheless, the app support was absolutely non-existent. It was running on the standard build of Android 2.2. When you put the not too useful second screen away, you were left with a very thick and bulky phone. It looks very weird when you didn't have that second display out. On top of that, battery life was terrible. It was so terrible that they included 2 batteries in the box when you bought it.